All right, ready to dive deep into some Rosicrucian mysteries.
Oh, yeah. We're going to untangle the threads of history, geometry, spirituality.
And how they all connect.
Yeah. We're basing today's deep dive on a fascinating conversation
Oh, I know this one.
between Dr. Robert Gilbert, a leading Rosicrucian scholar,
You know this stuff.
and Robert Edward Grant,
The geometry guru.
a YouTube host with a passion for all things geometric.
Their conversation, it's like we're exploring a secret garden,
Full of hidden paths, yeah.
uncovering connections to the Vatican Library, deciphering hidden symbols in art and architecture.
Even bumping into Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, and we're going to buckle up for some seriously mind-bending concepts about time,
The nature of time.
the possibility of crystals forming in the human heart,
Okay, that sounds wild.
and how all of this links back to ancient wisdom.
We're going to break it down piece by piece
Highlight the most insightful parts of the conversation.
so you can follow along.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So let's start with the basics. Who are the Rosicrucians?
They're a bit of an enigma, historically speaking.
I've heard that.
They claim roots in 15th century Europe,
Okay.
but they weren't your typical organized group.
Not like a club with membership cards.
No, think more like an invisible college, a network of individuals focused on personal transformation.
Inner development, that kind of thing.
That's the idea.
And Dr. Gilbert presents them as a modern evolution of ancient wisdom traditions.
Drawing from Egyptian, Greek, even Jewish Kabbalah teachings,
It's like they took these ancient mysteries and gave them a modern twist.
adapted them for a new era.
And speaking of ancient mysteries,
This one's a doozy.
you won't believe what Grant discovered.
Tell me.
Rosicrucian and Hermetic symbolism woven throughout the Vatican Library.
Hold on, really?
Yeah,
That's incredible.
it makes you wonder, right?
Why would the Vatican have Rosicrucian symbolism?
Well, remember, the Vatican released a trove of Hermetic texts back in 1451.
Oh, right before the supposed initiation of Christian Rosicrucianism?
The legendary founder of Rosicrucianism.
It was in 1459.
So are we seeing a potential link between these Hermetic texts resurfacing and the birth of Rosicrucianism?
I mean, it's hard to ignore the timing.
Right. And Christian Rosicrucian himself,
A man of mystery.
his name, Rosicrucian, meaning Rose Cross, is like the central symbol of Rosicrucianism.
The emblem.
And Grant even compares him to Shakespeare,
Oh, interesting.
suggesting that Christian Rosicrucian might not be just one person.
More like a lineage of individuals carrying the torch.
A lineage that's fascinating.
The Rosicrucian tradition hints that it takes 12 initiates to initiate a new leader.
Someone who embodies the level of Christian Rosicrucian himself.
And this whole 12 surrounding the one idea, it's everywhere in their teachings.
Yeah, like the 12 disciples of Christ.
The 12 signs of the zodiac.
So are they saying that to truly understand something, you need multiple perspectives?
Exactly. They believed you need at least 12 different angles
Like examining a jewel under different lights.
to reveal all its facets.
Okay, so understanding requires a multifaceted approach.
That's the Rosicrucian way.
Now, what about Leonardo da Vinci?
Ah, Da Vinci. Grant has this intriguing theory about him being an early Rosicrucian.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Remember Da Vinci vanished from Italy for a few years?
Between 1483 and 1487, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Grant suggests he might have been working for the Sultan of Cairo.
Okay.
The Sultan employed other Rosicrucian polymaths,
Really?
and some of the buildings from that time display European architectural influences.
Hold on, so you're saying Da Vinci could have been secretly working with Rosicrucians in Cairo?
Potentially. There's even that encrypted letter in Codex Atlanticus.
The one that might back this up.
Grant believes it details Da Vinci's work for the Sultan,
And he even suggests that Rosicrucians hid knowledge within their art and architecture.
leaving clues for future generations.
Like a secret code waiting to be cracked.
A trail of breadcrumbs.
Speaking of mysteries, what about the Rosicrucian concept of time?
Time. Ah, yes. They had a very unique perspective.
Not your typical clock-on-the-wall view of time.
No, they saw it as a cycle, not a straight line,
With different energetic waves converging at specific points in history.
influencing human consciousness, events.
So not a simple linear progression.
Not at all. They believed the late 19th century was a pivotal moment,
A convergence of major time cycles.
ushering in the technological age we live in today.
And wasn't that when Rudolf Steiner's Michael prophecy came about?
The one foreseeing a wave of spiritual initiates incarnating at the end of the 20th century.
Right. And think about it. There's been a huge surge in interest in esoteric knowledge
Spirituality.
in recent decades.
Maybe it's not just a coincidence.
So the Rosicrucians would say this resurgence is connected to these larger time cycles.
Precisely. But Dr. Gilbert cautions us. This influx of information, it's a double-edged sword.
How so?
We're bombarded with so much, it's hard to know what to believe.
So how do we navigate this sea of information?
That's where sacred geometry comes in.
Okay.
The Rosicrucians saw it as the blueprint of creation.
The thought forms in the mind of God.
They believed that understanding these geometric patterns could unlock deeper truths.
About the universe, ourselves.
It all connected.
So it's not just about recognizing these patterns in ancient wisdom.
It's about seeing them in our own lives, too.
And that's where Grant's research on prime numbers comes in.
The 24-based modular system.
He found these patterns in ancient Egyptian artifacts.
Music.
And even the vector equilibrium.
Now that's a fascinating one.
Wait, isn't that the same shape Grant connected to time itself?
The very same. He drew a connection between the vector equilibrium,
Okay.
the concept of time,
The 12 apostles.
and even the 13th and 14th constellations.
It's like time is a deconstruction of this geometric form.
It's a mind-bending idea.
We've covered a lot. Before we go further,
Yeah, good idea.
can we get a quick overview of the core Rosicrucian beliefs?
Absolutely. They believed in the power of the Rose-Cross symbol.
The blossoming of the 7 chakras within us,
Right. They saw the physical body as a vehicle for spiritual evolution.
which happens through suffering and initiation.
Life's challenges are opportunities for growth.
And they placed a big emphasis on activating the heart chakra.
The heart as an organizing center for our entire energy system.
They even have 6 specific exercises designed for spiritual development.
Leading to the full activation of the 12-petaled heart lotus.
12 again. It seems like everything leads back to the heart.
It does. Dr. Gilbert highlighted this connection.
Between Rosicrucian thought, Egyptian biogeometry,
And other traditions that point to the heart as a universal center.
he even described the geometric center of any form as a gateway to the divine.
Existing beyond space and time.
And according to the Rosicrucians, there are 3 ways to open up our energy system: bottom up, top down, and
Center out.
their preferred method, starting with the heart.
The heart is key.
Which brings us to one of the most intriguing concepts: Rinxel stones.
Rinxel stones.
They're believed to be crystals
Crystals.
that form in the hearts of highly evolved spiritual beings.
Crystals in the heart, is that even possible?
That's what they believed. Grant found them in Buddhist relics,
Really?
and even pointed out specific stones in Da Vinci's Salvator Mundi.
The ones that could be Rinxel stones?
The very same.
Huh.
And remember Joan of Arc? When she was burned at the stake,
A tragic end.
they found a large crystal in her remains.
Do you think that could have been a Rinxel stone?
Grant believes so. It would represent the crystallized essence of her spiritual journey.
So these stones are like physical proof of spiritual attainment.
They could even be anchors for planetary transformation.
Like the pearl of great price in Christianity.
Oh, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
But how does ancient Egypt fit into all of this?
Dr. Gilbert connects it through numerical harmonics.
Oh, I remember that sequence. 1, 3, 7, and 12.
A blueprint for the human energy system,
And he specifically linked the number 7
often associated with time.
to the 7 chakras, the 7 days of the week, and the 7 post-Atlantean epochs.
Right. And here's the kicker. According to the Rosicrucians, we're currently in an epoch,
That mirrors the energetic principles of ancient Egypt.
mirroring in time cycles.
So that's why there's such a huge interest in ancient Egypt today.
Yeah.
It's not just a fad.
Not a coincidence at all.
Now, what about that 7-fold time cycle?
Grant connected it to the shape of the Jewish menorah.
With the 7 candlesticks mirroring the 7 epochs.
And the fourth, the central candle, symbolizing the turning point.
Jesus' incarnation.
Yes. And get this. Grant believes the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid
What about it?
might actually be a planetarium of time.
Encoding knowledge of zodiacal cycles and the transcendental nature of time.
It's like a time machine built into the pyramid.
We've gone from secret societies to heart crystals to a time machine pyramid.
And that's just scratching the surface.
I can't wait to delve deeper. This is incredible. We'll be back to uncover even more mind-bending connections.
And what all of this means for us today.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
You and me both. Welcome back. Remember where we left off? Grant's theory about the King's Chamber.
The planetarium of time.
He pointed to some really interesting details. For example, if you stacked the sarcophagus inside the chamber,
Okay.
it would fit precisely 137 times.
137. Wait, isn't that the same number as the fine structure constant in physics?
That describes the electromagnetic force.
You got it. It's like they encoded this fundamental constant into the Great Pyramid.
Connecting physics and ancient architecture.
And get this, Grant found an alpha and omega symbol etched right on that sarcophagus.
No way.
Yeah. In the same spot where Jesus' hand touches Mary Magdalene's in Da Vinci's Last Supper.
The connections are wild.
They really are. And let's not forget those petroglyphs.
What petroglyphs?
The ones depicting all 36 zodiacal decans on the chamber walls.
So the King's Chamber really is like a star map encoding vast cycles of time.
It's like they're telling us, hey, we knew about this. Time isn't just a straight line.
It's a spiral, a dance between past, present, and future.
And Grant even suggests we're not just observing time.
We're actively participating in its creation.
Whoa, okay. That leads us to another Rosicrucian concept, those latent organs of spiritual perception.
Now we're getting into the esoteric stuff.
What are these latent organs exactly?
Think of the chakras.
The energy centers along the spine.
Or acupuncture points in Chinese medicine.
Huh?
The Rosicrucians believe these aren't just metaphorical.
They represent actual energy centers with specific functions.
It's like upgrading our hardware,
To perceive the world beyond our five senses.
opening up to subtler energies and realities.
That sounds incredible, but Dr. Gilbert does give a warning.
About.
Trying to activate these powers prematurely without the proper preparation.
It can lead to kundalini sickness.
Kundalini energy. That's that powerful force at the base of the spine.
Symbolizes a coiled serpent.
If we try to awaken it before we're ready,
It's like forcing a bud to bloom too early.
it can create imbalances in our energy system.
Even lead to distress.
So it's not just about gaining power.
It's about evolving spiritually, developing wisdom and discernment.
Using these powers responsibly.
And the Rosicrucians believe the key to this evolution is the heart chakra,
The heart creates balance and harmony.
helping us navigate the complexities of both the physical and spiritual realms.
The heart as a bridge between two worlds.
Beautiful, isn't it?
And remember that numerical sequence Dr. Gilbert mentioned. 1, 3, 7, and 12.
Yeah, the blueprint for our energy system.
1 represents the spirit core.
Linked to the cave of Brahma, that space in the brain between the pineal and pituitary glands.
3 represents the astral body with its primary energy centers, the head, chest, and abdomen.
7 corresponds to the etheric body.
The subtle energy field linked to the 7 chakras.
And 12, well, that number keeps popping up, doesn't it?
It does, it does. Speaking of recurring themes, Dr. Gilbert also connected that 7-fold time cycle.
To the shape of the Jewish menorah.
The 7 candlesticks, mirroring the 7 post-Atlantean epochs.
With the 4th, the central candle, symbolizing Jesus' incarnation.
And the Rosicrucians believe we're living in the epoch that mirrors ancient Egypt.
Like history is rhyming.
Not a literal repetition.
Or like an echo.
A resurgence of those energetic principles, but at a higher level.
Bringing us back to Grant's theory about the King's Chamber.
The one encoding deep knowledge of zodiacal cycles and precession.
Maybe even a way to transcend our limited experience of time.
And Grant pointed out that the 4 North Star positions over vast cycles of time, Thuban, Vega, Polaris, and Deneb,
What about them?
they actually form a 2.1 rectangle in the night sky.
Wait a minute. A 2.1 rectangle. That's the exact proportion of the King's Chamber itself.
And that same 2.1 proportion is key to constructing a perfect pentagon.
Which is another symbol associated with the human energy body.
The 5 points representing the head, arms, and legs radiating out from the heart.
It's incredible how it all fits together.
The geometry, the numbers, the symbolism.
Pointing towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the cosmos.
This is mind-blowing. But how do we apply all this knowledge in our everyday lives?
That's where the Rosicrucian concept of the royal art comes in.
Royal art. Fill me in.
Dr. Gilbert described it as understanding how higher spiritual beings use sacred geometry to create our world.
Okay.
And now it's our turn to step into that role of conscious creators.
So we're not just studying this stuff, we're learning to embody it and use it.
To create a better future.
So it's not just personal transformation.
It's about contributing to a larger evolutionary process.
And maybe, as Grant suggests, it's also about transcending our limited perception of time.
Tapping into a deeper, more interconnected reality where past, present, and future are interwoven.
Okay, this is a lot to process. Before we wrap things up, can you remind us of those 6 essential exercises for spiritual development?
The ones Dr. Gilbert mentioned.
Yes, the ones leading to activating the 12-petaled heart lotus,
Those exercises are all about cultivating specific qualities within ourselves,
refining our thoughts, emotions, and actions,
aligning us with higher principles.
and activating those latent organs of spiritual perception.
Exactly. Think of them as tools for refining our inner world.
Okay, so what are those 6 essential exercises?
The first is control of thoughts
Becoming aware of that constant stream of thought.
and learning to direct them intentionally.
So, no more mindless scrolling.
Well, mindfulness certainly helps, but it goes deeper than that.
Our thoughts have power. They shape our reality.
And we can choose which thoughts we entertain.
The second exercise is control of actions.
Aligning our actions with our highest values, acting from integrity and purpose.
Walking the talk.
Precisely. Becoming conscious creators, making choices that reflect our aspirations.
Yeah, I could already see how these two could have a huge impact. What's the third?
The third is perseverance.
Staying committed to our path even when it's tough.
Developing resilience.
Because the spiritual path isn't always easy.
It's through challenges that we grow.
We develop strength and wisdom.
Perseverance is about keeping our eyes on the prize.
Even when the road gets bumpy. Okay, what's the fourth?
The fourth is equanimity.
Emotional balance, remaining centered.
Amidst the ups and downs.
That sounds like a tall order in today's world.
It's about cultivating inner peace.
Finding that eye of the storm.
Not letting external circumstances control our internal state.
2 more to go. What's the fifth?
The fifth is impartiality.
Open-mindedness, seeing beyond our own limited perspectives.
Stepping outside our echo chambers.
Embracing diverse viewpoints.
Recognizing that there's always more to learn.
Truth is multifaceted.
We can gain insights from those who hold different beliefs.
Expanding our consciousness.
Seeing the world through a wider lens.
I love that. Okay, give me number 6.
The sixth is trust.
Developing faith in the process.
Trusting that we're guided and supported even when we can't see the big picture.
Surrendering to something bigger than ourselves.
Recognizing that we're not alone.
There are forces working behind the scenes guiding us.
These 6 exercises seem so simple, but they're profound.
They require consistent effort, self-reflection.
They're not a quick fix.
It's a lifelong journey of inner refinement.
Like we're sculpting our own souls.
Refining our inner landscape.
To create a masterpiece.
And remember, these are just 6 essential exercises.
Yeah. There's a whole world of Rosicrucian teachings and practices out there.
So much to explore. And that's what these deep dives are all about, right?
To give you a taste of what's possible.
Inspire you to continue on your journey of discovery.
Exactly. And here's one final thought. Dr. Gilbert emphasized that the heart,
That central organizing force within us.
it's not just an energy center.
It's also a gateway to the divine.
Perhaps as we activate our hearts,
We also activate our connection to something larger.
a universal consciousness that permeates all of creation.
That's beautiful. We've traveled from secret societies and heart crystals to time mysteries and human transformation.
There's so much to reflect on.
We've covered a lot of ground. We've uncovered so much about Rosicrucianism already.
It's a deep well of knowledge, isn't it?
We've explored their history, their unique perspective on time,
The cosmos.
and even touched on the idea of activating hidden potentials within us.
And for this final part, I thought we could shift gears a bit.
Oh. How so?
Let's focus on the practical side. How can we integrate these Rosicrucian teachings into our daily lives?
That's a great question. Where do we even begin?
Well, remember those 6 essential exercises we discussed? The ones Dr. Gilbert highlighted.
For spiritual development.
Yeah. The ones leading to activating that 12-petaled heart lotus.
Yes. Those really resonated with me. They seemed so simple, yet profound.
The deceptively simple, you're right. They require consistent effort, self-reflection.
And a willingness to push ourselves.
It's a lifelong journey of inner refinement, not a quick fix.
So it's like we're sculpting our own souls.
Chiseling away at those imperfections to reveal the masterpiece within.
That's a beautiful image. And these are just 6 exercises.
A starting point, really. There's a whole world of Rosicrucian teachings beyond these.
Okay, I'm ready to dive in. Remind me, what's the first exercise?
Control of thoughts, developing mental discipline,
Becoming aware of that constant chatter in our minds.
and learning to direct those thoughts intentionally.
So becoming the CEO of our own minds.
Exactly. Instead of being swept away by every thought and emotion,
We learn to observe them, choose which ones we engage with.
it's about recognizing our thoughts have power, they shape our reality.
Okay, so it's not about suppressing thoughts.
It's about choosing which ones we empower.
Gotcha. What's the second exercise?
Control of actions.
Aligning our actions with our values.
Acting from integrity and purpose.
Walking the talk.
Exactly. Becoming conscious creators, making choices that reflect our aspirations.
So if I value kindness, I should strive to be kind in all my interactions.
Even when it's tough.
Yeah, even then. Aligning our inner and outer worlds.
What's the third exercise?
I'm ready for number 3.
Perseverance. Cultivating resilience, staying committed to our spiritual path, even when it's challenging.
Life throws curveballs.
It does, but it's through those challenges that we grow the most.
We develop strength, wisdom,
Perseverance is about remembering our why.
keeping our eyes on the prize, even when things get tough.
Exactly. Okay, number 4. Equanimity.
Emotional balance, remaining centered amidst the chaos.
It sounds challenging,
It does, especially in today's world.
but it's about cultivating that inner peace, that stillness within,
Even when the world feels like it's spinning,
finding that eye of the storm.
not letting outside circumstances control how we feel inside.
Precisely.
And
We have the power to choose our response.
it's like the Stoic philosophers, emphasizing emotional resilience.
There are definitely some parallels there.
Okay, what's number 5?
Impartiality. Cultivating open-mindedness.
Seeing beyond our limited perspectives,
Stepping outside those echo chambers. Embracing different viewpoints.
recognizing that we don't have all the answers,
That truth is multifaceted. We can learn from those who disagree with us.
expanding our consciousness, seeing the world through a wider lens.
Approaching life as a student, always eager to learn.
I love that. Okay, what's the final exercise?
Trust. Developing faith in the process,
Trusting that we're guided and supported, even when we don't see the full picture.
Surrendering to something bigger than ourselves.
Recognizing that we're not alone on this journey.
There are forces at play beyond what we can grasp, guiding us towards our potential.
It's like leap and the net will appear.
Sometimes we just need to trust.
That the universe has our back.
Trust is essential for navigating the unknown. It allows us to let go of control, surrender to the flow.
Wow. These exercises are so simple, yet so powerful.
They can truly transform our inner world.
And our experience of reality.
They're powerful tools, but remember, it's about the practice.
It's about making them a part of our lives.
You might find yourself becoming more aware, more compassionate, more resilient.
More connected to something greater.
That's the beauty of it.
This deep dive has given me a whole new perspective on Rosicrucianism.
Me too.
It's not just about ancient secrets, it's a path of personal growth.
Spiritual development, relevant for anyone seeking a more meaningful life.
It's a journey we can all embark on.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole world of Rosicrucian wisdom out there.
So much to explore. This has definitely sparked my curiosity.
I hope so. Keep exploring, keep seeking.
And keep diving deep into the mysteries that intrigue you.
Until next time.